Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here, and joined by, at this point, just a regular guest on the podcast, Mr. Adrian Salazar. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me again.
No, thanks for coming on, man. I say this every time we come on. We first met in a Whole Foods little eatery area, and I knew at that moment that you were going to be doing big things. And for anybody that hasn't listened to the previous episodes, can you just kind of catch them up on where you are currently in your portfolio and what you're buying? And then we'll kind of see where we go from there.
Yeah, sure. So, I started in real estate when I was 17, started in single family, wholesaling, flipping, and did that for about 3.5 years and really saw no way out. I saw it was very transactional. It wasn't scalable as the way I wanted to, as fast as I wanted to. And I kind of hit a peak. And so I looked into multifamily, I attended an event, got a little bit of information that I needed to start executing, and pulled a list and started marketing to small multifamily apartment complexes in Central and South Texas, and wholesaled about 6 of them before I bought my first one. And then I bought, my first one was a 16 unit. We raised $200,000 for it. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And ran the building myself. I lived in it. I slept in it in one of the units. So I was the manager and learned a lot. Then we bought a 32 unit. Then we bought a 10 unit. Then we bought an 88. Then we bought a 280, a 42, 43. So now we're at about 850 doors in about 3 years. So it's pretty cool. Financially free, financially independent. Me and my business partner, we're traveling the world. We, have an amazing team. And we focus on value add multifamily deals. And, as you guys probably know, those value adds are pretty intense. So we have to, be on top of them, and, a lot of money coming out, a lot of contractors, working on the property. So I have to stay on top of all that. And, we're vertically integrated. So, we brought property management in-house. We like to control, we like to be able to adjust. And we like to be able to just kind of, control the whole thing and provide for our investors. And, so we do the construction, we do the property management and the asset management all in-house. So on 850 doors, some in San Antonio, some in here in McAllen. And yeah, we're growing, man. We're growing. It's been a ride. It's been a lot of challenging obstacles that we've had to jump over. I've had to do some pretty uncomfortable things that put me out of my comfort zone. And as they say, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not really getting to where you want to go. So I've been able to put myself in the situations and come out, with a win. So I'm excited to see what's coming. Yeah,
I love it. It's one of those things. I was on another podcast the other day, and kind of the theme for the year for me is what I classified as like chasing the edges. It's like the edges of my ability, my mindset, my health, like everything, right? And my joke is I've been chasing the edges all year and I haven't found it yet. Yeah. And so I say that to say, like, you're young, you've completed that, you started young. What I truly believe is that when the mind does something that it didn't think was possible before, there's no going back. And then it plants the seed of like, what's the thing? Like, what can I do next? And so I really think that I have a young kid that we're mentoring who's 25, who's probably going to do $100 million of real estate in his first year. Right. Yeah. And it's like, that's like amazing. Right. And like, I told him, I was like, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? Like, why haven't you built your brand? And he's like, well, like, it's my first year. And I'm like, yeah, is that because what the other a-hole agents that are in the area that are been resting on their laurels for 40 years told you that you need to follow this process, or should you do it now? And he was like, that's a good point. And so what I found that I love about you is like, you're not asking for permission to like create your life. Like, you're just saying, this is the way I'm going to do it. And you're staying focused and you're keeping the blinders on. And it's so powerful.
100%, bro. Yeah, I was, so I went through UPW this past 4 days. So yesterday was the last day, and super intense. Tony Robbins is one of my huge mentors, has been for the longest time in my life. And he talks about three different things to help you get to where you want to go. And number one is modeling. You want to model someone that has what you want, that has achieved what you want. Number two is immersion. And number three is repetition. So, if you want to get to, a crazy place in business and in real estate, you have to, model the people that have what you want and get around those rooms, get around those people, listen to those podcasts. And number two, immerse yourself into that information. Go to events, read books, practice. And all those things has allowed me to get to where I want to go, where I am now fast. So, in that year that you're telling me about your student, it's very normal for people to say like, oh, well, it's my first year in real estate, but, truly, you want to create your story. I think one thing for me too, is I was aware that I wanted to create a story and make it like abnormal. Like I want my story to be like completely influencing, completely touching. And if I just go like everyone else in real estate, it's not going to be interesting. So you got to keep in mind, you're building your story. You want to make sure that you build a crazy story. You make an awesome, impact in other people. And yeah, I've been able to do that. So it's been pretty cool. It's been a ride. And I'm continuing to learn, continuing to grow. Yeah.
And you do, and this is funny because you'll love this, you of all people. Do you want to know how he made all these contacts? So he didn't follow his father's footsteps. And when he first got out of college and he moved to the area, he worked as a sales rep at an extremely high-end men's clothing store. And that's where he met all of his clients now. Yeah. And that's where he even got the opportunity for the job that he's at. And it's like, my buddy would joke to you that throw away your college degree and go join a country club and you're going to meet. And it's like, you and I see the same thing. Like when you're in those environments, when you're in those places, like you're sitting there saying like the guy above you, why should he help me? When you don't even know if that guy got helped when he was 18 or 20. And then he's happy to do that situation. The guy next to me in the RV spot that just talked to last night, he works at the #1 consulting firm in the world. Like basically does what I do for a living. And we talk for 45 minutes. He's like, no, you got to do this, change this, that. And I'm like, that one conversation is probably going to change my whole business plan for the next 50 years. And like, I just happen to be here, but I put myself in that situation.
Sure. Yeah. You also attracted it,
Yeah. Good point.
You attracted it into your life. I mean, it's not, random that this guy is staying right next to you. Like you have to be aware of that. And you got to grow as a person, right? I mean, to get where you want to go, you got to become the person to be able to receive those things. And if you're aware of that, you're going to be growing every day. You're going to be, studying the mind, studying, business, studying, different types of things that'll help you get to where you want to go, because then you won't be ready to receive it. And I mean, it just so happened that your neighbor is right next to you,
Yeah. It's 100%. So when you go from I'm a syndicator and I do this to growing a team and vertically integrating, I always love to ask this question. What was easier than you thought and what was harder than you thought as you continue to grow and build a team?
Easier was raising money. I think now it's just getting a little bit easier to raise money than it was before. I think, before it was just very challenging. I wasn't very sure. I was just getting into multifamily. I knew other people had success. I knew, the value add model worked. I knew the underwriting lessons we learned worked and were accurate, but it was just tough to just confidently like 100% sell someone on, giving me $500,000 or $2 million. I mean, it was tough. And I had to take that risk. I had to take that risk in the beginning to be able to go through the turbulence to make it now easy. Now I can pick up the phone, I can share it with anybody. And I don't feel like I'm begging people anymore. I feel like, hey, this is it. This is what we do. This is what we've done before. I'm just sharing with them an opportunity, at this point. Before I was like, begging people to, invest in me. So the raising money part got easier over time, but the hardest part now is mainly kind of just motivating the team. Now it's a team thing. Now it's not just me. I can't be at every property. I can't monitor all the contractors. I can't do quality control. I can't find all the deals. I can't do everything, like as much as I want to, I can't do it all. So I have to be able to motivate my team and inspire my team and train them properly because, people are the bread and butter to your business, and if you are not able to train them and to be a good leader in front of them, things will get tough and they might not get motivated anymore. And, people go through problems, normal people, not every employee is thinking like a business owner, 10X, like, let's go, let's grow. Like not everyone's thinking that way. So you have to be aware of that. And people are going through, different life stages. So I think that's kind of the most challenging part now is just working with the team and keeping them motivated and, being a good leader, and I'm growing as that person. And yeah, I mean, those are the kind of two things that have changed for me.
And I think ultimately what's interesting is like, we're lining up something that's going to be in place for somebody that 2 weeks ago I didn't even know was on my radar, that we could bring her on board, right? And what's interesting is like a lot of it doesn't really have to do with like, I know the job's going to get done, but it's like finding out the actual motivation and need behind her and how she will be fulfilled. And like understanding that might not always be money. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But understanding that quality, and I think we as humans, we our first inclination is, oh, it's money. And it's like, no. Right. They want ownership in something that's bigger than them. So what we do for our company is we do a big profit sharing for everybody. Like I want like anybody that's with me, like even though my percentage might be small on a deal, I bring everybody that worked with me on that project. They're going to get some of that deal. And it's not like it's this windfall that's going to retire them, but at least they have something that's like they can call their own. And it's deeper than just like, hey, I worked on this project. And I think, I know that over a long period of time, they're going to be around and they're going to enjoy that and they're going to grow into those things. And I think you always have to be looking at the long game. It's not just about, especially with somebody like you and I that are going to be doing deals probably till we're 90 years old.
Yeah, of course, bro. And I mean, good point on the money thing. Sometimes, some people on my team, I wouldn't say are motivated by money. They're motivated more by, a culture. They're motivated more by like, a new friendship, a genuine friendship, going out to dinner with the team is, and hanging out with them and laughing and not talking about business is what they want more than, a commission check. Or if I say, hey, if you lease 5 apartments, I'll bump your commission up a couple $100. Like they may not be as motivated for that and they may not want that. But, if I go and do a company beach trip with them, and allow them to be somewhere else and, maybe eat dinner, maybe, do other things, right? It's not always money, like you said. So I think that's the challenging part as you grow an organization is just figuring out everyone's role and figuring out what everyone's motivated by, and doing it quick, because if not, you can lose people,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of it. And most of these people too have a lot of experience, right? They have 10, 11, 12 years of property management experience that we just brought on. So I have to find a way to be different than their old companies,
Yeah.
I have to find a way, and we're new. And so I have to find a way.
We're building a big sales company right now. And the CEO of the company went through and he asked like 15 people in his sector, like, why did you leave that job? Or why are you not currently happy at the current job? And guess what? Not one of those people said money. They said leadership. Yeah. We have no leadership. We're not valued. And so like I spent, knowing that I was going to have these many people underneath me and knowing I was going to be running multiple companies, I spent, 5 months reading every John Maxwell book, reading about leadership, understanding what are the differences between this and that and the other. And so like, it's no surprise to me that we're here because I already knew we were getting here. So I gave the work. And it's crazy. And now I spend all my time learning about how to structure money, private equity exits, how to build this culture, everything. And so like, it really is this consistent, you know what it more than anything is though, for you and I as leaders in what we're doing, it's consistency of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And like showing up every day, you might not, every day might not be going great, but as long as you show up and know that the ultimate vision is like, they're looking for that. Like, I don't want Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I want Adrian to show up, and let's be honest, they see everything, even if you think they don't. And so like, you just have to kind of like keep showing up. And, some days that's harder than others, but if you do, that consistency is going to win out over and over again.
Sure. And I think, what I've learned too is in this position is, I mean, since I started in multifamily, I did a lot of things myself. I leased units. I mean, I was walking around the property. I was, interviewing contractors. I was on site. I wasn't the guy just pointing and, sending everybody to do things. And I'm still that way, and I think that's something that these people who have those 12 years of experience and have been in other companies, and that they don't have that relationship with the owner, and the owner just comes in to just get mad at them, or, hey, where are the reports, or where are the vacant units? Like, why are they vacant? I mean, instead of me going and asking them all these questions, I mean, I can pull a report myself. I just show up to the property and I just start walking units and I just start helping them. Like, I'm not like pointing at them and like, I noticed that when people see me doing those things, they get out of their chair and they start walking around. So, I mean, you got to lead by example as well. And not be afraid to do the dirty work, so.
100%. And so, you mentioned to me right before we got on, and you've traveled before, you and your partner, y'all are both about to head off on some trips. Travel for you is super important. It's something that you and I both care about a bunch. For anybody that's out there that's looking to kind of maneuver their business. And one of the reasons I got into the business I did was because I could do it for anywhere. But talk about how you've set yourself up for success to kind of be okay with being on the other side of the country while you have this big behemoth of a business running in the background.
Yeah. And I mean, I trust my team. I pour massive amounts of time and energy into them, while I'm here. I'm not here and I'm just not at the properties or not motivating them or not meeting with them. I mean, we do weekly meetings with the team. I jump on calls, I show up, I take, certain managers out to lunch just randomly one day just to get to know them and to share, different things. But I build a relationship with my team. And that's the number one reason why I feel comfortable leaving, in a week for 30 days, because I know that I've instilled what I need to in my team for them to know that, I also need this time off. Like, I mean, they also know that, hey, you need a break. I got you. Like, when they have that mindset of like, go, I got you, and not like, oh man, I wish I could go. Like, like that mindset it comes down to how you work with your team and how you motivate them and how you train them and how you are around them. But yeah, I mean, I do feel that they trust me and I trust them. And yeah, I mean, that's what really allows me to be able to leave. And also, I mean, the contractors too, the vendors, the maintenance guys, all those people, I'm also building a relationship with, not just the managers. I go on site, I meet the contractors, I, chit chat, I laugh with the vendors. So, and they also know that if I'm gone, I expect them to handle their shit, and not just because I'm gone doesn't mean that they can just,
So we flew into Tampa. We flew into Tampa to go check out our hotel, and I hadn't slept. I took a red eye from Washington, like no sleep, worked all day the day before. I had my backpack on my back, my suitcase in my hand, and the current property manager walked out. I put everything down and I sat there and talked to her for a couple minutes. And I said, hey, let me go take a shower. Let's go sit down. I want to hear about the property. I want to hear about your experience. So like 5 seconds in the conversation with her, I realized like, oh my God, this girl is a baller. We need to keep her. And so long story short, she know the current owners for like 30 years. And I'm like, I need to figure out a way. So like I talk about life, what you need, everything. But I told her, I said, here's my brain. For anybody that's listening on the podcast, I apologize. Brain is a circle. And I was like, here's how much I worry about my properties being taken care of. And I was like, if you're there, and she's like, I need this and I need this. I'm like, I can make that happen. Well, why would you do that? Because knowing that I have this asset across the country for me and it's somebody cares about it, God, you can't put a price tag on stuff.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, because
it's important.
That's a problem. Yeah. And I think a lot of guys, I don't know if you see this too. I think a lot of guys are trying to shortchange. They're trying to save a buck here and there instead of understanding like that peace of mind. There's no price that exists to have that.
Yep. And a lot of people, especially here in South Texas, they don't really reward, for good work. They just kind of salary, and that's it. You're okay with it. Okay. You're okay with it. And I'm a big fan of rewarding people. We do cut, commission checks and bonus checks and, incentivize people to do better and, increase the NOI. And, if they lease a certain amount of units per month, they get that next tier. So, I mean, we do our best to incentivize people, but, I think number one thing for me is I genuinely want to see these people do good. Like I genuinely want to see people happy in this work environment. And if they're not happy, there's nothing that I can do. Right. So I want to make sure that I'm, creating a healthy environment and genuinely caring about people, because it's not just about work for me. It's not just about business. It's not just about money. It's about, creating impact in other people. And that's what's helped me grow. So and I know this is hard for you because, who knows where, but if I were to say like you 10 years from now, like, do you ever think about that stuff? Do you ever wonder about, I know you do for the most part and things change all the time, but like, what's the ultimate goal for you when you think about stuff like that, when you imagine and you kind of set that sight for your vision? I do. The fund, right? The business wise, the fund, I want to create a fund. We're going to be starting that probably towards the end of this year. We're going to, do millions and millions of dollars of raising and, spread our bets across different types of commercial real estate. I want to be the first one in. Let's do it. Yeah. I'm serious. That's like, look, and before you do your vision, I really want to say this because I want everybody to open their fucking ears, because I've only said this to about 6 people and I mean it wholeheartedly across these 6 humans. I would invest in these humans and I would never, ever look at the deal. Ever. Do you know how great that is to have that trust and that freedom? Why would you put me in a deal that didn't make sense? I know you wouldn't. Same thing with the 6 other people I'm talking about. To have that reputation, can't beat it, man. Yeah. And what's cool is that I was talking to my business partner about that. I'll go into the vision here a bit, but I was talking to my business partner about this, about how, we have hundreds of investors now and no one really, calls me, no one really calls. I wish more called me, like I want to like, are we doing good? I don't understand. Yeah. So they don't call us, I'm sure they're reading the reports. I'm sure, all the distributions are good. There's a couple of properties that we just bought. So they're deeper value adds. And I had one investor hit me up about one of those, and he was like, "Hey man, like I noticed a small distribution. What's the deal?" And I told him, we're kicking people out, we're evicting people, we're clearing the drug heads, the crack heads. We're kicking people who don't pay rent out. We're cleaning the property. That's the reason why there's not enough money to kind of give massive amounts of distributions. And I even told him, I was like, come out here and check it out. Like, if you want to see the real deal, like I'll show you what's going on, Yeah. And very few people, ask me about that, but I'm truly confident in what I do. I post it everywhere. I know exactly what I'm doing. And so that confidence, I think, is the reason why people just don't really reach out to me. And so I appreciate, that view that you said. It's important, but I'm still mastering the craft. I'm still getting better myself. And, I think as I get better, investors will kind of trust me a little bit more throughout my journey. But as far as the vision, of course, is to create a fund. I want to continue to travel the world. I want to visit all the 7 wonders of the world. I want to create communities. I've had this dream since I was little, but I want to create a self-sustainable kind of community in a third world country and have it just self-sustain itself, rainwater capture systems, solar panels. I want to do like virtual learning with some programs here that the people don't have to like pay for. I want to put Wi-Fi in there. I want to, show them how to cook healthy food, like kind of just a self-sustainable community in a third world country. And not only in a third world country, I want to go deep into my roots. And go see where my grandma, kind of like the families that my grandma, lived with, and then her families, and then plant there. And then that's like, so it can be truly like a deep reasoning, like why, not just pick a random place. Like I want to go dig deep into my roots and then build this community there. I also want to inspire other young entrepreneurs, because I feel that I have a pretty interesting story as far as, all the roadblocks that I've had to deal with, all the personal development that I've had to, immerse myself in. And I feel like I have that power to impact other young entrepreneurs. Doesn't necessarily need to be real estate related, but I want to speak, in front of stages. I want to speak in front of thousands of people. I want to, write a book. I want to, do all those things that is going to put myself out there to create long lasting change. I'm going to leave this world one day. And I want people to remember who I am. I want to, my family, my kids to come, my nieces, nephews. I want them to have all the information at their fingertips on how to be successful in life. And that to me is what drives me. And I think in 10 years from now, money's never going to be a problem. All that stuff is just going to be solved already. And now it's just going to be impacting people and giving it all away. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, that's what drives me, bro.
Love that. And I know you will do all those things. So I'm going to share a story as we get out of here. Yeah. So for everybody that's listening over there, this young man, it was right when I got separated, or I was divorced. I can't remember. I met him in a, God, I don't even know what it was. Panera Bread. Yeah. And we were hanging out, and I just came back to Texas, and I was telling you about everything that was going on, and in the nicest way possible, not actually in a rude way, but just in the nice way possible. He said, "Look, I understand, this is a 13-year marriage ending. I understand that there's a lot of energy and a lot of emotion around said situation. But you said to me, what would it look like if you took all that energy and you put it into your craft? What would it look like if you put it into your businesses? What would it look like if you put it into the universe and impacted other people by helping them? And, understand that you literally, anybody can speak into you if you're willing to listen to it." And I really walked away from that comment. I really feel like it propelled me to turn around the narrative I was telling myself. Obviously a 13-year marriage there's a lot of emotions there. And so I just wanted to record it and say, thank you. You have no idea how much that meant to me. And, I really think about that all the time. So I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. No, that's great. Yeah. I remember that combo. And I think all of us have those thoughts and those, limiting beliefs, I guess is what you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But there is always a way to rewire those to something else of a greater purpose. You're either going to let it kill you, or, you're going to let it, unleash the power within, kind of thing. Yeah. And so that I'm glad that helped, bro. I really did see you kind of take that in a positive way. And I'm glad it helped.
Yeah. I think ultimately what's interesting about people is like, it's a perfect example. Like, I worry about people that like max out at their career, or they've done something great. And my question to you is like, do you have your next mountain? Do you have your next mountain? Because if you don't have your next mountain, then what's the point? And I feel like a lot of people live in that, 2 to 3 to 5 year span where they don't really have their next challenge set out, and they're kind of chasing that high, but they've already like maxed out over here. And it's like, no, you gotta stretch, you gotta far. And so like, whenever I meet somebody, like whatever their goals are, I'm like, double them right now. Well, why? Just because. Like, I want it to be so scary. And what you might find out is that you might just go accomplish them and more, and then you got to rewrite everything. And so it's like, whatever you're thinking, like just make it bigger, like bigger and bigger. But more importantly, make it bigger because you want it to be bigger, not because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Little things like that is so important.
Yep. And if we have crazy goals, if we want to 2x it, 10x things, we have to put ourselves in the rooms, with the right people. There's no way for you to just sit here and be like, I want double, and then just, do the same thing. Like, there's no way you'll achieve it. You have to go and put yourself in a room with someone else, get the right mentors, do the right personal development. You have to study, you have to change things. In order for things to change in your life, you have to change. And as you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you're not going to be hanging around the same peer group. Like, you have to put yourself in a different peer group. You have to join masterminds. You have to, study different things to get you where you want to go. And that's what's allowed me to, propel myself. And now I'm excited to see kind of what's next.
I love it. So people want to follow your journey. They want to chat with you. How would they do that?
Through Instagram. I think Instagram, I'm pretty active on there. Adrian Salazar. I think that'd be a good one. You can go to our website, 210mgmt.com, set up a time to, contact us. But social media I'm pretty active on there. So you guys reach out.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'll be staying in Wimberley at one of my clients' properties from October to January. So we're finally going to get that trip down to South Texas. I'm super pumped. So, but only under one condition.
Yeah.
Take the truck out on the beach.
Let's do it, bro.
And we shoot some guns, true Texas style. Dude, I appreciate it, guys. If you got some value from this, send it to your friends. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.